Across the vast reaches of the galaxy, a faint but urgent signal pulsed steadily through space. It was a cry for help, encoded with desperation and hope, originating from a remote star system on the edge of known territories. The message spoke of a civilization under siege ravaged by a ruthless enemy that left nothing but ruin in its wake. In the grand chambers of the Galactic Council, the distress call sparked heated debates. Delegates from dozens of alien races argued over whether intervention was wise. The enemy was feared and powerful, and many believed that helping the beleaguered species risked igniting a larger war. They were not ready to fight. Amid the tension, Earth's representatives listened in silence. Their planet had long been regarded as a relatively minor player in galactic affairs, often overlooked and underestimated, but Earth had changed. Decades of conflict and survival on their homeworld had forged a generation of warriors unlike any other, skilled, relentless, and unyielding. They were the kind of fighters who did not flinch in the face of overwhelming odds. When Earth's military leaders received the distress signal, they wasted no time. The planet's newly formed United Earth Defense Command declared they would answer the call, no matter the risks. Deep underground, in a sprawling complex fortified beneath the surface of Earth's largest continent, the selection process was already underway. From thousands of candidates, the most ruthless warriors were chosen, those who had proven themselves in combat zones, who had survived the worst and emerged stronger. Captain Marcus Kane stood among them, his reputation legendary. Known for his unorthodox tactics and cold resolve, he had earned the nickname the Iron Wolf. His eyes reflected a hard edge that came from countless battles, and a fierce loyalty to his team and mission. "We're not here to negotiate," Marcus told the assembled warriors. "We're here because they called out for help, and no one else had the guts to answer. The enemy thinks they can crush hope. We'll show them what happens when Earth's finest stand in their way." The soldiers nodded, their faces grim but determined. Aboard the massive carrier ship Valiant Resolve, the warriors prepared for departure. The vessel hummed with controlled power, its hull armored to withstand the fiercest assaults. Weapons systems were loaded, and advanced combat drones were tested and calibrated. As Earth's fleet launched into the black void, a palpable mix of tension and anticipation filled the air. The soldiers aboard the Valiant Resolve knew the mission would not be easy. They were entering a war zone unlike any Earth had faced before. When they arrived at the distance system, the scene was one of devastation. Cities lay in ruins, skies darkened by smoke and debris. The alien refugees, small in number but fierce in spirit, welcomed the Earth warriors with a mixture of hope and skepticism. "Your people are strong," said Thala, the alien resistance leader. Her eyes held the weight of loss and the spark of determination. "But this enemy is unlike anything we have faced. They do not show mercy." Marcus met her gaze steadily. "Mercy is a choice, but first, we fight." The first joint meeting of the Earth warriors and alien resistance was tense. Cultural differences and contrasting approaches to war threatened to undermine cooperation. The aliens favored cautious tactics, prioritizing civilian safety and diplomacy. The Earth soldiers advocated swift, decisive action. "I've seen what happens when you hesitate," Marcus warned. "We don't have the luxury of time." Despite initial friction, the two sides recognized a shared goal: to drive the invaders from their homes. As the night sky lit up with distant battles, Earth's warriors prepared to unleash their ruthless tactics on a merciless foe. The war had begun, and Earth had answered the call. The war-torn skies of the alien homeworld flickered with distant flashes of fire and smoke. Earth's warriors moved quickly, their boots steady on unfamiliar ground as they surveyed the devastation firsthand. The alien refugees who greeted them were grateful, but wary, their eyes filled with both hope and doubt. Captain Marcus Kane led the advanced squad, flanked by his trusted officers. Their armor bore the marks of countless battles, a testament to their experience and survival. They were here to fight and to win. But the arrival of Earth's elite did not go unnoticed by the coalition forces already stationed nearby. Representatives from several allied species approached cautiously, exchanging wary glances. Commander Vithar, a towering figure from the reptilian Cathari race, stepped forward. His voice was deep and commanding. Earth's warriors are known for their ferocity, but also their stubbornness. "We hope your arrival will bring balance, not chaos." Marcus met Vithar's gaze evenly. "Balance comes after victory. For now, we focus on the enemy." The tension was palpable. The coalition forces had fought a measured war, employing precision, strikes and careful diplomacy to avoid unnecessary losses. Earth's warriors, however, brought a different approach, one forged in the fires of relentless combat and hardened resolve. During the initial joint strategy meetings, disagreements flared. Alien commanders urged patience and caution. Earth's officers pushed for aggressive action. Lieutenant Zerakim, one of Earth's most skilled tacticians, spoke firmly, waiting for the perfect moment only lest the enemy grow stronger. We hit hard, we hit fast, and we keep hitting until they break. Thala, the alien resistance leader, nodded slowly. Your methods are direct, but we see results. Our people need hope. The first coordinated operation was planned to strike against a heavily fortified enemy outpost that had terrorized nearby settlements. Earth's warriors took the lead, deploying their forces with ruthless efficiency. As the operation unfolded, Earth's soldiers moved with calculated precision. They bypassed unnecessary engagements, focused on key targets, and leveraged their advanced technology to overwhelm the enemy. Their tactics were brutal, but effective. Explosions rocked the outpost, and enemy forces scrambled to respond. The Earth warriors showed no mercy, cutting through opposition with relentless firepower and close-quarters combat. The aliens watching from a distance were stunned by the sheer ferocity of the assault. Some whispered that Earth's fighters fought like a force of nature, unpredictable, unstoppable. When the dust settled, the outpost lay in ruins, and the enemy survivors were in full retreat. Civilian casualties were minimal, thanks to careful planning, but the damage to enemy infrastructure was crippling. Commander Vithar approached Marcus after the battle. Your methods are harsh, but effective. The enemy is shaken. Marcus allowed a brief nod of acknowledgement. We fight to win. Sometimes that means making hard choices. Despite the victory, unease lingered. The alien commanders worried about the long-term consequences of Earth's ruthlessness. Would this approach win the war, or breed resentment that could fracture the fragile coalition back on the battlefield? The enemy grew wary. Their scouts reported the arrival of Earth's warriors, describing them as merciless hunters who spared nothing. Fear began to spread through their ranks. Meanwhile, the alien refugees grew more hopeful. They saw in Earth's soldiers a fierce determination that had been missing, a sign that salvation might finally be at hand. Captain Kane and his officers knew the road ahead would be fraught with challenges. Their tactics had proven effective, but winning hearts and minds would be just as important. As the sun set over the war-torn landscape, Earth's warriors prepared for the next phase of their mission. The enemy had been dealt a blow, but the true test was yet to come. They had answered the call for help. Now, they would fight like only Earth's fiercest warriors could. The battlefield was a jagged scar across the alien world's surface, where Earth's ruthless warriors had begun to carve a path through the enemy's strongholds. Their reputation spread quickly, whispers of fierce soldiers who struck without hesitation, who ended fights before they could drag on. Captain Marcus Kane stood atop a ridge overlooking the next target, an enemy supply depot, critical to the invaders' war effort. Satellite images showed vast stockpiles of weapons, fuel, and technology. Destroying it would cripple their ability to wage prolonged war. This won't be easy, Marcus said, his voice low but steady. They know what we're capable of. Now, expect heavy resistance. Lieutenant Zerakim studied the data, outlining the plan. We'll hit fast and hard, infiltrate, plant charges, then retreat before they can respond. Precision and ruthlessness. The Earth warriors moved like shadows through the ruined forests, silent and deadly. Their armor blended with the landscape, and their movements were honed by years of combat experience. As they approached the depot, the enemy's patrols tightened their grip. Automated sentries scanned the area, and heavily armed guards patrolled the perimeter. But Earth's fighters adapted quickly, using stealth drones and electronic jamming. They disabled the sensors and slipped past enemy lines. Once inside, chaos erupted. Explosions tore through the stockpiles as charges ignited, sending fireballs into the sky. The depot's destruction was swift and thorough. Enemy reinforcements rushed in, but they were met with fierce resistance. Earth's warriors fought with brutal efficiency, every shot, every move calculated to end the fight quickly and decisively. The aliens who fought alongside them watched in awe and unease. The ruthless tactics saved lives on their side, but the sheer intensity unsettled even the most battle-hardened veterans. We don't have the luxury of mercy, Marcus explained to his allies later. The enemy will stop at nothing to destroy everything we protect. We owe them nothing. News of the depot's destruction spread fast. rallying the invaders' confidence. The enemy commander, a cold and calculating strategist named Varrock, grew furious. His forces doubled patrols and launched brutal reprisals against any suspected collaborators. The alien refugees bore the brunt of the retaliation. Entire villages were razed, and thousands fled into the wilderness. Thala's voice trembled as she reported the suffering. "We wanted to protect our people," she said quietly, "but this war is tearing them apart." Captain Kane felt the weight of responsibility, but remained resolute. The enemy's cruelty is their own undoing. "We fight not to punish innocents, but to end this sooner." Back on the battlefield, tensions flared between Earth's warriors and some alien commanders. Some feared that Earth's tactics would alienate potential allies and prolong the conflict. Lieutenant Zerakim sought common ground. "We can temper our methods where possible, but make no mistake, we cannot afford to go easy on those who will see us destroyed." The next mission would be a test of that balance. A rescue operation deep behind enemy lines, aimed at freeing captured civilians and scientists vital to the coalition's efforts. The stakes had never been higher. Earth's warriors would need to wield their ruthlessness, carefully protecting the innocent while crushing the enemy's grip. As the sun dipped below the horizon, Captain Kane prepared his team. "We fight for those who cannot, and when they cried out for help, we answered. Now, we finished what we started." The war had settled into a grim rhythm, but the growing friction between Earth's warriors and their alien allies was harder to ignore. The refugees they fought for looked to them with hope. Yet some leaders worried that the price of Earth's ruthless methods might be too high. In a dimly lit war room aboard the Coalition flagship, Thala met with several alien commanders. Their voices were low, tinged with concern. "We understand Earth's strength and the urgency of this fight," said Commander Riltek of the Varnian species, his eyes narrow. "But their tactics, ruthless strikes, disregard for traditional protocols, they risk alienating the very populations we seek to protect." Thala nodded slowly. "Our people are grateful, but fear is growing. If we lose the hearts and minds of the refugees, we may lose the war." On the other side of the ship, Captain Marcus Kane reviewed battle reports with his officers. Lieutenant Zerakim looked up, sensing his unease. "The coalition leaders don't share our approach," she said. "They fear we're too harsh." Marcus clenched his jaw. "They don't understand what it means to fight for survival. Mercy is a luxury when the enemy shows none." Still, the cracks in the alliance troubled him. He'd seen how fear and distrust could fracture even the strongest bonds. A divided front would only give the enemy an advantage. Later, during a joint strategy session, tensions boiled over. Alien commanders questioned Earth's demands for aggressive operations, arguing for restraint and diplomatic overtures. Marcus stood, his voice firm but measured. "We respect your caution, but hesitation costs lives. The enemy grows bolder because they believe we will hold back. We will not." The room fell silent. Thala stepped forward, her voice calm but resolute. "Perhaps there is a middle path, one that honors Earth's strength and our desire to protect our people." An uneasy truce formed, with plans to combine Earth's ruthless tactics with the Coalition's emphasis on protecting civilians and fostering trust among the refugees. The next mission would test this fragile balance. A coordinated offensive aimed at disrupting enemy supply lines while securing safe zones for displaced families. On the ground, Earth's warriors worked closely with alien units, training side by side and sharing strategies. Small moments of camaraderie began to break down walls built by suspicion. Private Ria Ortega, a young Earth soldier, found herself paired with Lix, a sharp-eyed scout from the Cathari. Despite their differences, they shared stories of loss and hope, realizing their fight was the same. "I never thought I'd find a friend in the stars," Ria admitted during a quiet moment. Lix smiled. "Neither did I, but maybe that's what this war is about, finding strength in unexpected places." As the offensive launched, Earth's warriors struck with precision, coordinated with the alien units to minimize collateral damage. The enemy's supply routes were crippled, and safe zones began to form where refugees could rebuild. But the enemy was ruthless in response, sending shock troops to terrorize civilians and sabotage efforts. The cost was high, and the coalition felt the strain. That night, Marcus stood on the bridge of the Valiant Resolve, staring out at the war-torn planet below. The fight was far from over, but the growing cooperation between Earth's warriors and their alien allies gave him hope. They had answered the call for help. Now, they were learning to fight together, not just with weapons, but with trust. A new chapter in their war had begun. The fragile calm shattered like glass days after the Coalition's successful offensive. The enemy launched a devastating counterattack. Their target, key Coalition worlds that serve as supply hubs and safe havens for the refugees. The goal was clear: cripple the resistance by destroying its heart. Captain Marcus Kane stood on the bridge of the Valiant Resolve as alarms blared, the ship shuddering from distant explosions across the communications channel. Frantic voices relayed the chaos unfolding on multiple fronts the invaders had unleashed. Shock troops in advanced war machines, overwhelming planetary defenses with brutal efficiency. Entire cities were swallowed by fire and smoke. Enemy forces are advancing faster than predicted, reported Lieutenant Zerakim, her face grim. We need immediate reinforcements. Marcus clenched his fists. That we give them no quarter. Prepare all combat units for rapid deployment. On the ground, Earth's ruthless warriors led the defense, coordinating with alien allies in desperate attempts to hold the line. Their tactics were savage and unrelenting. Where others hesitated, Earth's fighters surged forward, pushing back the enemy tide. The streets became battlegrounds, echoes of gunfire and explosions filling the air. Civilians scrambled for shelter as the invaders tore through neighborhoods, seeking to break the spirit of those who fought against them. Amid the chaos, Marcus led a squad deep into the heart of a besieged city, intent on securing a critical communications hub. The success of the defense depended on maintaining contact with Coalition forces. The streets were littered with debris and shadowed by smoke. Enemy patrols lurked in the ruins, and the threat of ambush was constant. Marcus signaled his team to move swiftly, but cautiously. Stay sharp. This isn't a battle for the faint of heart. They encountered fierce resistance, and the firefight was brutal. Earth's warriors fought with calculated aggression, using every tactic at their disposal to outmaneuver the enemy. Despite the overwhelming odds, Marcus's squad secured the hub. Communications were restored, providing a vital lifeline for the beleaguered defenders. Elsewhere, other Earth units struck at enemy supply lines, disrupting reinforcements and slowing their advance. Their ruthless efficiency saved countless lives, even as the destruction mounted. The alien leaders observed the ferocity of Earth's defense with a mixture of awe and fear. The brutal tactics saved their worlds, but the cost weighed heavily on them. In a tense meeting aboard the Coalition flagship, Thala voiced the growing concern. The enemy's reprisals are cruel, but so too are our responses. We must find a way to protect our people without losing ourselves. Marcus met her gaze steadily. Sometimes, to protect hope, you have to fight fire with fire. The battle raged on for days, with Earth's warriors at the forefront. Their unyielding resolve and willingness to make hard choices turned the tide, forcing the invaders to retreat. When the smoke cleared, the Coalition worlds were battered but still standing. The invaders had suffered a significant setback, yet the scars of the assault ran deep. Thousands had lost their homes, and the war's toll on innocent lives was painfully clear. Marcus knew the fight was far from over. The enemy would regroup, and the next assault would be even more ferocious. But the message was unmistakable. Earth's warriors would not back down. They had come to fight, and they would fight alone if they had to. The war had escalated beyond anything the Coalition had anticipated. Earth's ruthless warriors had turned the tide on the battlefield, but beneath the surface, new dangers were stirring. Threats not just from the enemy, but from secrets long buried. Captain Marcus Kane sat in a secure briefing room aboard the Valiant Resolve, flanked by Lieutenant Zerakim and Thala. A holographic projection hovered between them, displaying scanned images of an ancient structure hidden beneath the ruins of a recently liberated city. This facility wasn't on any of our maps, Zera said, eyes scanning the data. Ancient tech, possibly predating known galactic civilizations. Thala's voice was cautious. Our people whispered of such places, forgotten relics from a time before the invaders arrived. If the enemy controls this, it could give them an edge. Marcus studied the images. The structure pulsed faintly with an eerie light, evidence of an active power source deep underground. We need a team to investigate, Marcus said. If the enemy is using it to bolster their war efforts, we have to shut it down. The decision was swift. A specialized unit, including Earth's fiercest warriors and alien engineers, would descend into the depths to uncover the facility's secrets. As the team prepared for the mission, tension ran high. The enemy's desperation suggested that whatever lay beneath could change the course of the war. Descending into the dark tunnels, the squad moved cautiously. The air was thick with silence, broken only by the faint hum of ancient machinery. Deeper inside, They discovered chambers filled with alien technology, energy conduits, weapon systems, and data banks holding secrets long thought lost. Lieutenant Zara Kim interfaced with the console, her fingers flying over the controls. This technology could amplify their forces exponentially. We can't let that happen. Suddenly, the ground trembled. The enemy had detected their presence and triggered a defense protocol. Explosions rocked the tunnels as automated turrets and security drones activated. The team fought back with ruthless precision, cutting through waves of defenses. Marcus led the charge, his squad moving as one, deadly and relentless. Despite the onslaught, they pressed forward, determined to disable the facility. In the central chamber, Zara found the core control system with minutes to spare. She initiated a shutdown sequence, watching as the facility's energy dimmed, the tremor ceased, and the enemy's advantage vanished. But the discovery came with a chilling revelation. This technology was not native to the invaders. It was something older, something far more dangerous. Back on the surface, Thala confronted Marcus. If this ancient tech falls into the wrong hands, it could doom us all. We must be vigilant. Marcus nodded, his resolve hardening. We fight, not just for survival, but to protect the future of every species in this galaxy. As Earth's warriors regrouped, a new understanding settled over the coalition. The war was not just against a ruthless enemy, it was against shadows from a forgotten past. The fight would grow darker, but Earth's fiercest would stand tall, ready to face whatever came next. The revelation of the ancient technology beneath the battlefield had shaken the coalition to its core. If the enemy could harness its power again, the entire galaxy would face devastation beyond imagination. Yet, the fragile alliance was showing signs of strain, and time was running out. Captain Marcus Kane stood before a crowded meeting of coalition leaders aboard the Valiant Resolve. The room buzzed with tension. Alien delegates whispered among themselves, casting wary glances toward the Earth contingent. We need solutions, not divisions, Marcus began, his voice steady. The enemy's power grows because we fight in fragments. Earth's warriors stand ready to strike hard, but we need every ally on our side. Commander Riltek of the Varnian race folded his arms. And what do you propose, Captain? That we abandon caution for your aggressive tactics. Marcus met his gaze. I propose we combine strengths, ruthlessness tempered by strategy, firepower guided by wisdom. We can't afford to be divided. Thala stepped forward. There is another option. A faction within the enemy's ranks has grown disillusioned. They fear the ancient technology as much as we do. If we reach out, we might forge an alliance. Murmurs spread through the room. Alliances with the enemy. It sounded unthinkable. Contact them carefully, Thala urged. Their knowledge could be invaluable and their betrayal could turn the tide. Reluctantly, the coalition agreed. A covert team was assembled, including Earth's finest negotiators and alien diplomats. Their mission, to find and parley with the enemy defectors. As the team ventured into enemy territory, Marcus prepared Earth's forces for the possibility of a desperate gambit. The war was entering a critical phase, and every choice carried immense risk. Meanwhile, on the battlefield, Earth's warriors launched a series of precision strikes to weaken enemy supply lines and communications. Their fierce tactics continued to inspire both hope and fear across the coalition. Back in the enemy's stronghold, the negotiation team made contact with the defected former officers who feared the ancient technology's destructive potential. Their leader, a sharp-minded strategist named Kale, met with cautious sincerity. Our people have been blinded by power, Kale admitted. We do not want annihilation. Help us stop the weapon before it's too late. The discussions were tense. Trust was scarce, but the common threat to all life demanded action. Kale revealed critical information, secret caches of the ancient technology scattered across the galaxy, protected by deadly traps and loyal guards. Marcus realized the enormity of the task ahead. We must strike quickly and decisively. This war will end only when every piece of that technology is destroyed. As the coalition prepared a daring campaign to root out the enemy's hidden power, Earth's warriors trained relentlessly, ready to face the deadliest battles yet. In the quiet moments before the storm, Marcus reflected on the path they'd taken. The war had forced unlikely alliances and brutal choices, but humanity's fierce spirit and refusal to stand down had kept hope alive. The enemy might be powerful, the ancient technology might be terrifying, but Earth's warriors had declared, "Then we fight alone," and now, with allies old and new, they would fight together. The galaxy held its breath as the Coalition launched its decisive assault on the enemy's last strongholds, the hidden caches of ancient technology that threatened all life. Earth's warriors led the charge, their ruthless precision matched by the fierce determination of alien allies and even the defectors, who had once fought against them. Captain Marcus Kane stood on the bridge of the Valley of Resolve, eyes fixed on the tactical displays. This was the culmination of everything they had fought for, the chance to end the war once and for all. Ready the teams for planetary deployment, Marcus ordered. This is where we make our stand. On the surface, Earth's soldiers moved with a lethal grace. Each strike was surgical, designed to neutralize the enemy's advantage while minimizing collateral damage. The ancient defenses guarding the technology were formidable, but the combined forces of the Coalition were relentless. Deep underground, Lieutenant Zerakim and her squad navigated labyrinthine corridors, dismantling the energy cores powering the ancient machines. Each victory brought hope, but also the ever-present risk of ambush. Suddenly, the facility trembled. The enemy's final trap, an automated system designed to destroy the technology and everyone nearby. Activated, evacuate. Now, Zara shouted into her comms as explosions rocked the tunnels. The squad raced against the collapsing walls, dodging debris and enemy fire. Above, Marcus coordinated air support, cutting off reinforcements and clearing escape routes. At the last moment, the teams regrouped, escaping the facility just as it erupted in a cataclysmic explosion that echoed through the planet's core. The ancient technology was destroyed. In the aftermath, the enemy's forces faltered. Without their devastating advantage, their will to fight shattered. Surrender spread across the war-torn worlds and peace talks began. Marcus stood alongside Thala, Commander Riltek, Kale, and others as the Coalition gathered to forge a new era. We answered the call when no one else would, Marcus said, voice firm. We fought with every ounce of strength and courage, and together, we showed that even in the darkest times, hope endures. Thala smiled, eyes bright with tears. Our people are free, thanks to the warriors from Earth. You fought not just for yourselves, but for all who had lost faith. Kale nodded. And we have learned that even enemies can become allies. When survival demands it, the galaxy would rebuild. Old wounds would heal, and new bonds would form stronger and wiser than before. As the valiant resolve prepared to return to Earth, Marcus reflected on the journey. Humanity had stepped into a vast cosmic conflict and emerged not just as fighters, but as symbols of resilience and unity. They had been abandoned by every other race, left to fight alone. But when the galaxy cried out for help, Earth answered. And now, they had shown that even in the face of overwhelming odds, the human spirit could rise ruthless when necessary, but always fighting for something greater. The stars seemed brighter that night, a new dawn breaking across the universe.